In this week's Parsha, we have the incident of the quails, as it is commonly referred to. The story is that the children of Israel were in the desert and they started complaining. And then they started complaining specifically about meat. They said, "We want meat." And they continued, "We miss all of the fish that we had for free in Egypt, and the meat and the onions and the garlic and the melons, okay, and all we have is this the manna, okay, and we're just sick and tired of it." Okay? And Hashem is very angry about this complaint, and Moshe doesn't like it at all. And the Chumash then describes the man, saying essentially that it was like a little white seed. It was in pearl clusters, and that they would gather it, and then they'd have to grind it up, and then they would cook it up into little cakes that were a rich delicacy. The point being that really the mun was fine. It was more than fine. It was something that was easy to prepare, pleasant to gather, and tasty and nutritious. There was no need for anything else. In addition to that, they had plenty of livestock. They could eat meat, whatever they want. As a matter of fact, later on in the Chumash, the tribes of Gad and Reuven will say they don't want to go into Israel because the land that they're in is good for cattle, and they say, and your servants have a lot of cattle. So what the Chumash is talking about is basically two things. It's not clear which one is the essence and which one is the form. One of them is that there's a sorry aspect of the human personality that's a chow hound, loves to eat, a glutton. It can be humorous when you're talking about it or reading it. When you're actually sitting in front of it, it's not funny at all. The other part is the kind of person who likes to be strident, who likes to complain. Okay? And what it shows is just how far and how ugly that these characteristics can go. What Hashem does is He grants them their request that they will have meat, does it in an angry form, saying that you're going to have it for a month until basically you're sick of it. So what happens is they have it for the month, and then God causes a flock of quails, it's a very tasty bird, to land in a very tired state, in a state that it would be easy to catch them, a day's journey outside of the camp of the Bnei Yisrael. And what they do is when they hear about these quails, some of them, certainly not all, but the worst of them, quickly run and travel day and night to gather these quails, and they gather huge amounts of them. The Chumash talks about them saying that they left when the meat was still between their teeth. And then God causes a plague to destroy them all. And Moshe names the place that this happened at Kivrot HaTaiva, literally the graves of lust. Lust being, there are different types of lust. One is the lust for food, that's what we're dealing with. The other one is the lust of the body. The third is the common one, is the lust for money, greed. Okay, they're all related, greed being a common term. And God causes a plague, and it claims them. Now, someone who's just reading the Chumash says, gosh, that's horrible. Someone's screaming, meat, meat, we want meat. Okay, the food's horrible. Okay, you'd say, well, certainly shouldn't kill them. That seems to be a bit much. But what is being revealed to us is something about the nature of the world. Okay, that when we see a person gets a heart attack or a stroke, or they have rotten teeth, or they look fat and ugly, it's not necessarily a case that it's through natural agency typically, but there's the finger of God in the natural agency that we ordinarily do not see all that well. That God is basically punishing them because of the malevolence that is within them. And the way they exercise this malevolence is through food, and God does, as a result of that, does all types of things that are bad to them, but nevertheless just. A deeper question is, what is the role of the body and its needs? Okay. There are commentaries that say that the body is the source of all evil. Not everyone agrees with it. It can be viewed as an exaggeration, not totally. There is also a part of us that is rebellious and runs to do evil that has nothing to do with the body. The truth is that the body is a very valuable possession and it's a source of pleasure. Food is supposed to be tasty. However, we are not permitted to overindulge in it or abuse that pleasure. And very often, if we do, food will lose its taste. The fourth piece of cake somehow does not taste as good as the third piece of cake or the first piece of cake. In addition to that, a person starts feeling bloated. A person also starts having all sorts of problems, obesity, tooth decay being critical ones. So what it is that we're supposed to enjoy the taste of food, and the subtle taste of food will come when we're eating for the sake of our brain. I mean, I'm talking about the physical brain, the physical heart, the different parts of the body. This is where the subtle tastes of food come into play. Why a person will like a tomato or even an apple, even though it is not as sweet as sugar or chocolate. It's because you taste with all of your body. When a person has fat, it's a case where the fat smothers the other tastes. So in other words, a person is supposed to be measured and rational in their eating habits. In addition to that, a person is meant to have etiquette and be refined. Okay? Generally, people who will do these things will be extremely crude. There is a degree of frivolity and laughter that's involved with being crude, and it can exercise itself greatly in eating. Also, the prophets will complain that concerning when they're criticizing the Jewish people, that they have said the table of God is disgusting, meaning that when they actually sit down for a Sudas mitzvah, a meal involving a mitzvah, a wedding feast, bar mitzvah, this type of thing, that they will be specifically bad. This is all the worse. The issue of using food in these situations is because it's a way of expressing a person's joy. Someone's getting married, or a person himself is getting married, or their child is getting married. It's not enough to just say congratulations. It's not even enough to just sing a few songs. Somehow having a sumptuous and large meal that has fine food and is in a beautiful surrounding is the proper way to express this idea. And the food is then being used as a vehicle for a mitzvah. Okay, the Rambam talks about 4 levels of priorities in the human condition. That a person, the first one and the highest one is his mind, his beliefs, the things that we believe, especially the things that we believe in terms of God and how he runs the world. The second one is the heart, specifically good character, which is our relationship with man, between one man and another, our relationship with other human beings, our relationship with society. The next one is having a nice body. A person should be attractive and they should be healthy. The final one is possessions. A person should have have nice possessions. The body is the most important possession, therefore it has it has a higher priority. It's an obvious ranking. But as I said, the main thing is for us to know how to use our body, how to enjoy food, and how to be refined and how to be proper, because this is where the image of God really does show on man.